Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. Pasta Jardula here.
I'm Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue is spinning on the ones and twos.
Sam, you were off. I'm sorry.
I know I did it.
You ruined it.
I did because I was reading our chat over here in the YouTubes, and somebody came in and said Trump. I don't know why. Okay, have fun with
Why?
that, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
God.
I felt like a schmuck myself for still talking to people who are out of office right now and not as important to what's going on. And I guess we're going to cover some really crazy important shit today on the Convo Couch. It's funny, we woke up this morning thinking, it's going to be a light show. We got a few things here. And then we start looking into some stuff. And before you know it, there's a lot to report on.
Yeah, nobody has really talked about this bill that we're going to be talking about at all.
Yeah.
This is new. It just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
It's crazy because this is what they do. They distract you with other shit.
Yep.
To get you to overlook what they're actually pushing for. So on one end, the squad, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, etc., were introducing a resolution, a joint resolution to actually, we've talked about it before. It was to stop the funding of U.S. aid to Israel. Yep. Which was, of course, the defense money that they were already using on Palestinians. And, Joe Biden had already approved that. There was a window. They missed the window. Yesterday was the last time. It was a symbolic gesture. We knew that was a symbolic gesture. We're going to talk about Bernie's as well. But at the same time, on one end, they're doing that, while on another end, they're giving money to police and the defense industry, and people don't know that. And what happens is AOC, Bernie, and all the progressives do one thing. Oh my God, they get on the floor, they do a little
for
speech.
Us, fam.
They do their little speech thing. They do a DOA, dead on arrival, resolution, and all the progressives, like clockwork, do videos, and like progressive media does little videos. Oh my God, they're doing great. Look at them. This is what we need. 100 more of them. This is why they're fighting for us, and blah blah blah. And they're like, let's give accolades. This is great. Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, these fuckers are tricking you because they're actually taking away your rights. Taking away our money for that should be going to us to protect themselves, to put themselves at a class above the rest of you. That's what's happening right now. And nobody's fucking talking about it because it's boring. It's bills and it's legislation, and it's hard to find a lot of these. We had trouble finding the freaking resolution. It was nowhere.
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering fam, does Congress take method acting? Or do they take Meisner, or do they do breathing techniques like Maz, Mies, and Mose?
I think they do that.
All along with CIA training, too, as well, because what you're talking about, Sam.
Giant blob of Jello.
Giant blob of satanic Jello.
Satanic Jello.
Mr. Pompeo is. But that is something that's really, you have to put in mind, because when you go back to archive this stuff and you look at this stuff, that's what you'll see, these resolutions, these symbolic gestures. And you'll think, oh my God, AOC is fighting for us. Oh, the squad is putting their neck out there for us. They're doing these things. But the time of it, how it comes out, what it really means, if it can take effect. When I hear resolution, I'm automatically like, bleh.
Yeah.
I mean, now HR 1, which is a resolution, which is a little bit different, it allows states to set it sets the standards for which states to then try to enact laws with in conjunction with the HR 1 resolution.
It's also heavily pushed, and it's also it's different, like when it's dead on arrival or not.
Yeah.
These were dead on arrival, and meanwhile they're giving more money to the police and the defense and the Pentagon and the Department of Justice and the national security apparatus against you, because it's all about them protecting themselves. The political theater of January 6th, it's the most dangerous event since 9/11, and
they're still doing that. They're still weaponizing January 6th.
Continue to talk. They're still talking about it. They're not talking about Israel Palestine.
Nope.
They're talking about, oh my God, January 6th. How are we going to prevent that from happening? This insurrection. Oh my God, clutches pearls and faints.
Yeah. It just makes you think, too, as well, like how strong the AIPAC is, the Israeli lobby is.
Oh, my God,
like People just wait for it to pass over before they put anything on the floor or whatnot. They do their symbolic gestures. They get on the floor. They stomp their feet. But when it comes to it at the end of the day, the Congress did nothing to stop this. In fact, blood is on our hands. We've aided the whole thing. These are our weapons, whatnot. And it seems like a lot, when you go start looking into stuff we've been talking about. I've been doing a lot of looking into DARPA. That's why I've been doing a lot of homework on DARPA and stuff like that. You see these pockets of like Iraq, Palestine. All these areas are like playgrounds for where the elites can test their weaponry, at any given time. Because you're talking about what's going on in Palestine until the ceasefire was new weapons being tested out, The military-industrial complex was taking their weapons for a ride. Let's see what we got. They did it in Iraq. Iraq was a big... Let's take our weapons and see how they work. So it is kind of, the drone attacks and all that stuff. It's just... It is scary, and it makes you think when you start looking into the nuances of what's going on, who's really controlling things, who's controlling our government, the way they vote, the way they do things, the lack of actual guts to really change things and stop things and say, hey, we're not funding Israel anymore because what they're doing is disgusting, and they're actually causing a new genocide. But it is what it is, fam. I don't want to talk too much. Let's get into it right away. By the way, the first person in the Super Ray department is Trey Wright, as always. And Trey Wright, let me tell you something. It is always appreciated on the couch. Come on, guys, make me do that today. If you don't put anything in there, if it's just a Convo Couch received a tip, that's what I will do to annoy Fiorella.
Don't do that to me.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't do that to me, guys.
The bigger the donation, the louder the always appreciated on the couch.
Remember,
that's
only
what
fans,
it's going to be.
Only fans.
So, fam, I heard somebody say, oh, my God, Bernie's still Bernie. He's fighting for us. I love Bernie. He's fighting for the Palestinians.
Right. Bernie doesn't believe in BDS. So, yeah. Okay. So Sanders will introduce a resolution, right? He already did, disapproving $735 million of the U.S. arms sales to Israel. This is the amount of money we were saying that the Biden administration already approved. Yep. This was already approved. So Bernie followed up a day after AOC actually introduced hers joint resolution, and the sale, of course, this is like regarding the sale of the guided weapons, which were guided very well to bomb hospitals and houses, by the way. So he's the first guy in the Senate, which puts us in a very sad situation. The fact that this is the first person to actually do this in the Senate, it's really, really sad because it's symbolic at best. And like we said, Israel has been the largest recipient of foreign assistance since World War II, guys. This has been going on forever, before we were born. Like I said, he did this right after AOC's, and right here on CNN, the effort is likely more symbolic than something that would result in the blocking of the deal, but is the latest example of how progressives putting pressure on the Biden administration to take a stronger position in the Middle East conflict. It is not a conflict. It is genocide, CNN, on the Israel killing Palestinians. Let's just even put that. The $735 million weapons sale to Israel is unlikely to be stopped by Congress, according to a source familiar with the matter. Basically, guys, because this sale was going through an expedited congressional review process, it gave Congress a 15-day window to take action to stop the sale. So the review process already ended Wednesday. And there is a requirement for the committee of jurisdiction to act to block the bill. So there's no chance of that happening. So the window has basically closed. So
that's CNN saying that shit.
That's CNN saying it. Guys, this is symbolic. This is also so the whole progressive independent media and all these intercepts and all these TYT can be like, see, guys, all the edgelord left is just saying Bernie and AOC and the squad aren't doing anything. Look what they're doing. They care. Do you think Palestinians that got bombed, that got 91,000 of them got displaced, 230 plus people dead, 65 at least of those children? Do you think they give a shit about Sanders' resolution or AOC's pat myself on the back resolution?
Yeah.
Do you really think they give a shit when now they don't even have homes to return to?
Yeah.
And now everybody's praising, oh my God, Israel, they ceased the fire. It was great. Like now it's all good and gravy. Let's go back to brunch. No, like that doesn't do shit.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how many weapons were dropped from outer space. Like, I really, that's what I'm thinking about right now, like, too, as well. It's like, they really wanted to test all these precision-guided fucking weapons. Yep. Where did some of them come from? You know what I'm saying? Listen, I don't mean to get crazy, but I'm just starting to think about that shit because it was like, this conflict came out of nowhere. It left so many days. There were so many weapons being fired and shit like that. And they were talking about these precision-guided weapons.
Exactly. And we're going to talk about that, why like this is all of a sudden happening, right? So I just wanted to read, Johnny, the House resolution. It's really short. It's H.J. Rez providing for congressional disapproval of the proposed direct commercial sale to Israel of certain weaponry
Symbolic.
and munitions. In the House of Representatives, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez introduced the following joint resolution, which was referred to the Committee on Joint Resolution, blah, 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 the Committee on blank, right? They didn't put it on there. Joint resolution providing for congressional disapproval. Here it is. Resolved by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled that the issuance of a license for Congress for the export with respect to any of the following transfers to Israel is prohibited. The transfer of the following defense articles, including defense services and technical data described in the license document DDTC 20084, submitted to Congress pursuant to Section 36C E of the Arms Export Control Act, 22 U.S.C. 2776 C, on May 5th, 2021, the proposed transfer of the defense articles, defense services, and technical data to support weapons integration, flight test, and hardware delivery of the Joint Direct Attack munition variants and small diameter bomb increment 1 variants for the end use of by the Ministry of Defense for Israel. Okay, so basically, it's to stop the funding to Israel, that specific funding. But Pasta, didn't you have something that described what a resolution is? Isn't a resolution just literally...
It's about principles. It's about gestures, whatnot. It doesn't necessarily become law when you do resolutions. I mean, it can be like as a...
It can set a precedent.
It can set a precedent for states to create laws around sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't really mean anything.
Like House Resolution 1.
Yeah, House Resolution
like
1 is just one. It's going to give like the states permission to say, okay, we can make laws if we want to. Or in this particular case, can they take on emergency measures like the Secretary of State, whatnot, to say we could have mail-in ballots just for everybody or whatnot and stuff that they don't, you know, there are ways that resolutions can be used by states or, you know, whatnot, but it's not necessarily going to become a law. It's about, and I was just looking it up, and I always say that when I see resolutions sometimes, like the Green New Deal, it's not about, you know, becoming a law. Like all this stuff is just saying, we're going on record to say that we don't want all this stuff to happen.
But we know it's going to happen.
But it's going to happen anyways because it's DOA. It's virtue signaling from a congressional standpoint. That's all resolutions are half the time.
That's exactly what it is. And it really, you know, and it just puts it in perspective, guys. Like you're not, like most of the independent media, and I'm saying that again because a lot of them cover this from... Look at the good Bernie and AOC are doing. And it's like, it's not that I'm trying to trash everything. I'm just telling you what it is. This is bullshit. It wasn't ever intended to stop anything. And people genuinely believe that it is.
Yeah.
And that it was. And that this is a good thing. No, it's actually worse because they know. They know when they're introducing this.
And they also waited for the time date to be the window to open up. It was past the 15-day window. Yeah. So what the hell are you doing? I mean, really, to tell you the truth, that means that you think the people out there, maybe they are as stupid as can be that they can't find this out.
And also they waited till public outcry because I don't think they expected public outcry to be this big, and that's what happened. Can
I say something? It really shouldn't have come to this situation this time around. For them to be trying to act like all this shit should have been done years ago. Because this is not the first time they've done this. You know what I'm saying? This happens periodically when it comes to Israel doing what they're doing to the Palestinians. This is like, you know, and in fact, they don't even put in the measures to stop stuff. They get aided by these people and they take their money to stay silent when these things happen.
Hold on, Johnny. There was a couple of things. Okay, got it. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so did you want to see?
No, that was it. Oh, see if there's any super chats real quick. Super raise. Oh, there is. Who is it? By the way, we have 22 watching on the Rokfin.
Let's get some more people there, guys.
Jesse.
Get some more of you in there.
Quadro Leon. How come Joe Biden signed an anti-Asian hate crime bill? What about hate crimes against black people? What about hate crimes against Latinos? What legislation was signed after Walmart shooting to protect Latinos? Are they saying Asians are more important and superior to other races, therefore they deserve more protection? I would like your opinions on this. Thank you.
Yeah, so we mentioned it actually off camera just before we came on the show. Basically, I think it's just another symbolic gesture to say, because guess what? You know why he can't do anything against Latinos and against black people? Because they're the more in proportion getting killed by police. So anything that would be signed into law would have to deal with something related to the police. But the police are actually getting more money from people, and we're going to talk about that. It's all symbolic. So they're going to do anything they can to make themselves look good symbolically, pandering this and that. So, oh yeah, there were protests for Asians and blah blah blah, and against Asian violence. But yes, it's anti-Trump. But also remember, okay, let's not pit ourselves against the other. Right? What was happening to Asian people was wrong. But who leads that charge? Who is anti-China in rhetoric? Who's going to send ships to the South China Sea? Joe Biden. Who is doing that right now? Joe Biden, equally as bad as Trump. He just has a different way of saying it. But our anti-China rhetoric, when we talk about, how evil commie China is coming to get us, that plays a role in that as well. If you actually want to be against Asian hate, how about we stop painting these countries as evil dictatorships and leave them alone? That's a huge part of the hypocrisy. And like I said, if it actually did anything against the police or against any sort of crime by the police, because this is related to crime of racist people against a group of people, right? So they can put all the resolutions and all the symbolic bullshit about it. But if it's the police or, their minions, they're people who enforce the law doing crime, they wouldn't do it. That's why. Because they would have to hold them accountable, and they're not going to do that. The Empire needs the stormtroopers to do their job.
When it comes to the Asian situation, though, too, it's really about being very tribal. It's funny because I was on a show the other day with a bunch of conservatives, and I was going to make a joke saying, I would have lost $20 because Senator Sonny Borelli did mention China at least once, and we experienced it. It's like, when China sneezes, and they have this whole tribal mentality where a lot of Democrats are playing the anti-Russian card, Putin this, Putin that, and the Republicans play the China card all the time. Oh, the China's Communist Party, CCP. So it is a way of keeping the tribalism going. It is a way of kind of making a jab at Donald Trump, because Donald Trump said, China, you know what I'm saying? When he talked about the coronavirus, nobody really brought us any justice. The other day, Rand Paul, when he went after Fauci, was saying, hey, maybe this is a bioweapon that got released. Let's take a look at this. Look at all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We don't have those conversations. So nobody's really being honest. They're just pitting people against each other. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is about. This is a way for Joe Biden and the Democrats to take a stab at Donald Trump, because we need boogeymen, and the Democratic boogeyman is Donald Trump. So the more they can reproduce him or react him or get him out there, the more they can just play what do you call it, patty cake. Mm-hmm. So
the empire maintains its enemies, its boogeymen. The Mickey Mat, military industrial complex. I don't even know the rest of it, but they continue to get money.
It's bullshit. You shouldn't make it. How do you say about like Jesse said in this and stuff? You're saying this person's more important than this person.
That's what it does. It makes you feel like but it's not. They do that on purpose. Yeah. Because, like I said, they're never going to go against the police. All these people calling for defund the police. I'm all for it. Okay. Guess what? It's not going to happen because they would have to defund the Pentagon first. Yeah. They would have to that's them giving up security for themselves. Why would they do that? They know that you guys aren't happy. They know the working class is like getting worse and worse and just bigger and bigger, right? They know this shit is bad. They're not going to lose security for themselves. So what they have to do is give symbolic gestures, and then people are obviously going to complain, and it's going to cause more xenophobia. Yeah. It's going to cause more xenophobia.
Can you really legislate culture? I mean, we're going to get into that later on too as well. About the culture wars and all that stuff, what's going on. Embald Fate, by the way, I'm going to be mailing out a package today to you, Embald Fate. A couple good shirts coming your way. We know you owed it to you, but it's coming. Joe Biden is not corrupt in any way. Bernie Sanders, that was the biggest lie I ever heard. Bernie and the squad has proven over and over again that the elite matter more to them than their base. Move past Bernie and never look back, says Embald Fate. Good stuff, Embald Fate. Shadow Ban Refugee. Love this guy. Boycott CuckTube. Give me Rokfin or give me death. This guy, Shadow Band Refugee, is awesome. Would you please get at us? I heard you getting all excited. He's in New Mexico, I believe.
Yeah.
He knows a lot about labor stuff. And, oh, shit, something just came through. A big one.
Holla.
Oh, my
holla,
God.
Holla, we love
Holla,
you.
Ishmael. Okay, she didn't write anything down, so she gets a big one for a big tip. Ready?
Oh, God.
Holla, ready? It's always appreciated on the couch.
Don't you not understand personal space?
Sorry.
Okay,
and I know, and I feel bad because you got my coffee breath there. But it's Lavazza
Guys,
coffee.
This is what I have to deal with. You
Okay,
guys,
so let me pull this up for you. Is this the one you want
I
to
don't
do
get
first?
paid enough for this.
This Alec? Is that the first one? Or we?
Yeah, so
or
wait.
does Johnny want to show something?
Wait, no. Really quickly,
Okay.
let's just get into this topic because this is a really important topic. All right. So the Dems are going to pass, right? The Congress already passed $1.9 billion budget increase to increase the budget of the Capitol Police, military, and DHS. That's right. The national security apparatus gets more money while you get none. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start with the tweet that breaks down the voting process, right? So this is from Alec Caracatsanis. Caracatsanis. Okay, no, I'm not going to listen to you.
You're awful at Greek words.
Caracatsanis. No,
Caracatsanis.
No, you're adding another syllable in there.
Caracatsanis.
No, it's Caracatsanis.
Caracatsanis.
No, you're wrong. All right, a major scandal is happening right this moment on the House. You are.
Okay.
Mainstream Democrats are quietly trying to ram through a $1.9 million
$2 billion
budget increase to the Capitol Police, military, and DHS, supposedly because January 6th showed that they, quote, needed more funding.
Still with the weaponization of January 6th, fam.
For those of you new to this, of the many things that went wrong on January 6th, insufficient funding for Capitol Police and bloated military bureaucracy was not one of them, right? We all know this. It definitely wasn't. Okay. So this is part of a long pattern of police work with liberal reformers to use their own violence, waste, brutality, and incompetence to justify increased budgets, 100%. And all of the people of goodwill must speak out against the latest attempt by the Democrats to waste money expanding state bureaucracy, violence, militarization, and surveillance. All of these instruments will be turned against the most vulnerable people in our society, 100%. This is what always happens. You, me, everybody else, the working class. Some of the only people exposing this violent nonsense are Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, Cori Bush, AOC, Jamal Bauman, and Rashida Tlaib. Update. Devastating news. This dangerous bill passed 213 to 212.
Wow.
With Rep AOC, Rep Rashida Tlaib, and Rep Jamal Bauman abandoning their positions and voting present instead of against it, thus supporting giving cops more money and weapons to use against the most vulnerable people. So,
fam,
even this person who was initially praising the squad, oh, hey, look, see, they're the only ones. Update, excuse me, they actually went back on the word. Do you remember another time where this happened? Where they went back and actually vote?
Wait, I think I have a guess. Was this when we were in D.C.?
Weren't we?
Weren't we there? Weren't we watching this on live TV? Didn't we almost get arrested on the steps over there for protesting against this? That there were more cops there than on January 3rd than there were on January 6th? Yep. More cops, guys, on January 3rd.
It's not for lack of money.
Okay, all right.
It's not.
With assault rifles out.
They knew what they were doing. This was a psyop. You know it. We know it. We've gone over that a million times. This is like disgusting, and it gets worse because we're going to break down the bill, right, Johnny?
We're breaking down the fucking bill because guess what? It was hard as fuck to find.
It was,
None of the articles none of the new mainstream media news reference the bill.
Yeah.
It's HR 3237.
Look at this. I try to pull it up, and look what it says. Error 503, back and fetch failed. We can't pull it up, Johnny. You have to pull it up. It's not letting me pull it up.
I'll pull it up. Emergency Security Supplemental to respond to January 6th Appropriations Act 2021.
Do you want to do the Hill article first, or do you want to do it right into the bill?
Well, we were just showing
Hill article.
We don't even need it.
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to find it through the Hill article. The Hill article didn't have it. House narrowly approves 1.9 after squad drama.
Okay.
See, they call it squad drama because the squad was opposed and then they weren't. And yeah, that's what the Hill is focused on, like the squad drama. But they didn't reference the bill.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Right.
All right, Johnny, you take over. I'll ask questions after when you guys explain this to me.
Before we even get into the bill text, right? So I just want to show y'all the vote, the roll call. Ooh!
I told you.
Did they take it out?
No way,
dude. We just looked at this. We just had it.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude.
Guys, I did a thread tagging them. I just did a thread tagging them. I tagged Rashida.
They followed the Convo Couch.
I tagged AOC and I tagged Jamal Bauman.
No way.
And I put the link to the bill there.
Dude,
just
I'm
now. Is
you.
it gone or are we just fucking this up right now?
No, dude, they just do this shit though. They keep removing shit. They keep fucking.
What the fuck?
Listen.
What?
I'll never forget.
Are you guys seeing this right now?
If you
guys,
go right here in the box. There it is. But no,
guys,
go in that box.
What box?
I should have taken a screenshot of it.
Yeah,
well, we took a bunch of them,
right
but
here.
we didn't take all of it.
This right here is the link to it. 17th Congress bill, right? HR.
Yeah.
3237.
Okay, I think I got it. So
you got it?
Wait, so then.
All right, it's coming back and forth.
So actions.
Woo.
Okay, we press on actions.
Yeah.
God damn.
Okay, there it is.
Oh, God.
Okay, 2 roll call votes. That was weird.
Dude, it's
because it happened to you guys. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on passage by the House. Okay, so the House voted for it. As you know, now it goes to the Senate. 213 to 212, 3 present. Let's look at the roll call. So it takes us to this clerk, U.S. House of Representatives clerk. So votes by party. You can see all Republicans voted no.
Hey, let me point this out. Republicans aren't funding the police.
I'm telling you, it's switching.
It's a culture war.
This is just
why.
theater shit.
So
I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, your government is the fucking worst, dude.
We know.
We got to get rid of all these people.
They're
It's so
actors.
funny what we're talking about today. The way the culture rolls too as well. It's like everybody keeps switching. Republicans are voting against funding of military hardware. Hello? Democrats are voting for it.
It's hilarious.
You guys are going to be surprised.
God.
As soon as we show the bill and everything. So, okay, so here's that. All Democrats voted yes except for 3, and then 3 did present.
Oh, which allowed it to sneak.
So, there you go.
Who were the 3?
So, who are the present votes?
Bauman, Ocasio-Cortez, and Tlaib. See, that just shows you that they're playing ball, ladies and gentlemen. That shows you right there. They're playing ball. They're not for the progressives.
This is what happens when you join the Democratic Party, Pasta. Because
that's why you got to leave it.
Because they're like, oh, I don't want to vote with Republicans.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably one of the things. Oh, it's going to look bad optically if you guys vote with the Republicans. And then also, once we get into the details of the bill, you'll find out.
Right.
Why.
All cops are bastards until it's about me. Then
and my
I
party.
want the cops all around. Just like what's her face from the Arizona.
Katie Hobbs.
Yeah.
All cops are bastards. But give me some security to help me secure me though. I need state troopers though. What happened to all cops are bastards? Well, unless they're protecting me personally. And you know, Johnny, this is also them taking up recess. And fucking Nancy Pelosi calling AOC over here, and Rashida said, listen, we're going to need you to vote present on this one. And that's what you're going to have to do.
But Mama
you get in
Bear?
fucking line, otherwise
I'll
pull committee assignments.
And then we'll think about $15 minimum wage in 5 years.
Yes.
All right.
And you want those committee assignments, right? Okay.
So interesting, though, Cori Bush, Omar, and Presley did vote nay with the Republicans.
They stuck on. Well, they're probably taking turns.
I didn't know that.
Who gets to be nay? Who gets to be present now? It's probably they got like a certain amount of mulligans.
Here's the
They
thing,
want to use them up
do
on
you
this
not
one.
think these people know what they're I mean, has anybody watched House of Cards here? They like meet beforehand, and then they're like, okay, I'm gonna vote this way, and then you're gonna vote this way, and then it's gonna look like this. But next time
you
we're
get
gonna
this.
switch. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's
dude.
how it happens, guys.
It's
I'm sorry to
wrestling.
refer to a fucking show with what's his face in it. I'm so sorry, but
It's
that's
wrestling.
what happens, guys.
It's theater.
It's wrestling, yes.
We have I mean, seriously, ladies and gentlemen, why did they vote nay? And then why did they switch to presents?
Okay.
Presents.
So
why?
So let's go.
So
through
let's get through this thing right now. We're gonna go through the tweet, right?
So yeah, here's the bill. I'm just showing the bill, and then we'll go through the tweets.
Oh, Matt Stoller.
So here's HR 3237 enacts, and then I'm just gonna show you guys how the bill kind of looks really quick. So Title 1, Chapter 1, it's basically like that, and then it says for pretty much in every section, it's Title 1, Section 1, and then or whatever, and then it'll say for an additional amount, and then it has the money amount. to remain available until expended to respond to the attack on the United States Capitol that occurred on January. It uses this line every time for the money, right?
Yep.
And which shall be allocated in accordance with a spend plan, whatever provided, and then it has the little terms which are ambiguous throughout the whole entire bill. And they are specific in some points, and that's what we're going to show.
Right. Okay. So I said, what happened to all cops are bastards? AOC, Rep Bauman, Rashida Tlaib. Why did you vote present on giving $1.9 billion to police for riot gear and bonuses? Because that's where it's going in part. This doesn't help protect people. This is symbolic pandering for you to get $4.8 million in security detail, and $2.6 million goes to use against protests, because that's eventually going to happen.
Right now. I want you guys to explain the 4.8 and the 1.6 here. This is just crazy.
All right, so let me go to the next one. Okay, the first one is going to be provided further that of such amounts, 2.6 million shall remain available until expended for physical protection, barriers, and various evil disturbance.
Various civil disturbance.
Various civil disturbance. Evil
doesn't have her glasses today.
Disturbance unit equipment. Provided further that such fund, blah, blah, blah. Okay,
so read that again, guys.
Provided further that such amounts, 2,628,000, shall remain available until expended for physical protection, barriers, and various civil/evil disturbance unit equipment.
Civil disturbance unit equipment.
Yeah.
Civil disturbance unit equipment.
What could that possibly be referring to?
What is that?
That sirens that woo.
Various, yeah. Maybe some stuff like this.
Right? What's this, Johnny?
Right? Some of the stuff that we've been hit with.
Oh my God.
Flashbangs.
Protective solutions.
Smoke grenades.
But they're
defense
protection.
Technology. If you're in stocks, hey, this shit's about to go through the roof with this 2.68 million, right?
We should buy stocks.
Hell no.
That.
I would never.
So, I just want to show you. I have it right here. We have it in the studio.
Yeah, show it. Yeah, I'll hold it for you so you could.
There you go.
This
is where it's going to.
It's a little blurry.
I know.
You got it?
Focus on it. This is what it's going to.
This we got where we get it. So we got this in Portland, right?
No, this one was here in L.A.
It was?
Yeah.
Well, they can't. That was here in L.A.
Well, there was.
But we've collected shells and stuff too in Portland as well. It's ridiculous. This is not for protection.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. It's for protection.
It
for
is
them.
Not for them.
It's
by
protection for
gassing
the
and
oppressor.
hurting you.
Exactly. It's protection for the elite class of politicians. By the way, what is that?
These are the pepper balls.
Oh, the pepper balls. There you go.
Is that LA too?
I have to have them in a bag.
I was just gonna say, why are they in a bag, Johnny?
South Central LA. I have to have them in a bag because they fucking make you cough like crazy. You
yeah.
cough up a lung.
Yeah. If you take them out of the bag, even if you're not super next to it, you'll start coughing like crazy.
This is the top of a.
They won't be able to hear you. You got your mic there.
This is the top of a fucking I don't know, some smoke grenade or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We've picked these up. They have gas things that shoot out rubber pellets as they hit and stuff. You know what I'm saying? All the protective solutions that Johnny's showing on the screen right now, if you go back to it really quick, this is all stuff used to break up civil disobedience.
Oh, yeah.
They hit you with sound grenades.
And they just gave them more
sirens.
money.
This is to stop people
more
from protesting.
Money. We know that the police already are bloated. And by the way, the police are trained with military tactics. The police in LA, the sheriff and the LAPD, literally had the IDF training. Yeah. The same training that the IDF did. Why does nobody fucking talk about that shit? They literally did. Yeah. So you're by funding the police, you're also funding the military, and so this bill goes further.
And by the way, this is not about protecting anything. I just want to reiterate that one last time. This is about dispersing people when they're gathering for protesting.
It's protest. They say any civil disobedience. They don't say specifically what they're talking. That blanket statement goes for anybody. So guess what? Now when you protest, it is in law that they have more money to use against you. And this is only for the Capitol police, by the way, for the Capitol area.
And this part I'm going to read for you since, it's up.
No, I got it.
You sure?
Yes.
Because
Fam, I will slap you.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
The next part.
Not less than 4,800,000 shall be available for protective details for members of Congress. Again, not less than $4,800,000 shall be available for protective members of Congress, for members of Congress, including delegates and the resident commissioner to Congress.
But fam, these people need to be protected. Everybody wants to kill AOC. She needs special secret forces to protect her.
You almost had me killed.
You know, $5 million for protective services. You're just a second-class citizen. You can't get shit. But these people can get private. They just funded themselves private security 24/7.
Private security.
Private security on your dime.
What does that mean? Oh, just bodyguards, any sort of extra private security that you don't get. They get. Not that you'd want to have a cop hanging around you 24/7, but that's where it's going for them. They are now above it, right? They are a class above you, apparently. I thought they were public servants. I guess not. So that basically means that they get more protection, the reason they're giving so much money to the police is for themselves, and it's against you, because ultimately, who is going to suffer from all of this? It's the working class. It's anybody that has any reason to protest. It's all of us, whether you're protesting for voting or whether you're protesting against police or you're protesting against the national security state. You are fucked, because this gets even worse. And I just want to point out too, real quick on the thread, I said the defense industry, which is currently complicit in the genocide of Palestinians, will be getting a large portion of this money. Funny how that works. No wonder the House just pushed a dead on arrival resolution to stop funding for Israel on one end while giving money to the defense on another. This is what they do. This is what they do. Okay?
They're running shit. The military industrial complex, along with the fucking technocratics, are running shit. They're getting all the resources, all the money, and you can't stop it, and you don't even see it. And yet they dupe you into getting to make you believe that they fucking need this shit done. Oh, January 6th, when they tried to overturn the government. Get the fudge out of here.
Okay. This is where it gets even scarier. This is where this is like, wow. So the Capitol Police are now above the law. No other agency or third party, including law enforcement agency, has the right to request body cam footage. So this means they're above the law, and anything filmed is also above oversight, because we're all supposed to have oversight, especially the media, right? Yeah. We're supposed to be the watchdogs, right? It says right here, requiring notification prior to disclosure of certain recorded information. The regulations promulgated under paragraph 1 shall include a requirement that the United States Capitol Police shall not make any disclosure to any third party, including a law enforcement agency, including any disclosures pursuant to a request by compulsory process of any video or audio information relating to the House of Representatives or the Senate, which is recorded by a body-worn camera utilized by an officer of the United States Capitol Police until the United States Capitol Police provides no notice of the request to and consults regarding the disclosure. Blah, blah, blah. So basically, you can't ask for the body cam footage. We can't ask for the body cam footage. The police can't even ask for the body cam footage of the Capitol Police, like, recording anything. So let's say there's an abuse by the Capitol Police or an abuse by a congressperson on a civilian. That won't be allowed to be published until they consult with each other.
They're protecting their own speech, fam.
What?
Yours is not protected, but theirs are.
Their speech is private. They're public figures, 1. 2, first of all, what happened to, hey, let's put body cams on police and let us see the footage?
Yeah.
Wait. Derek Chauvin.
Transparency.
What happened with all of that shit? Like, oh, let's let the public know. Let the media see what these cops are doing. What happened with that? Oh, that's for you. That the rules don't apply to us, to Congress, to people in power. We're above that. That's what they're telling you. They're protecting their civil liberties while they're trashing yours. Yeah. People should be fucking outraged about this.
And let's be honest, too. This is not just going to be while they're at the Capitol. This is going to. Some of these people are going to get protection all the time when they go home. Yeah. You know, when they go to a soiree in South Dakota or something, a congressman is now going to have protection with them all the time. It's coming out of your pocket, the taxpayer, to protect these people at all costs. They are above you. You're just the plebs. You're nothing.
The DOJ also
Department of Justice,
gets $3.8 million, while there's an additional $34 million for necessary expenses related to prosecutions related to the attack on the Capitol complex, guys. And you can see that right here in the pictures Johnny's showing. The Department of Justice legal activities, salaries and expenses, general legal activities, $3.8 million. And then the next one, you can see the $34 million for an additional amount for salaries and expenses. United States attorneys, $34 million to remain available until September 30th,
attorneys, fam.
2022.
Lawyers are expensive, fam.
They gotta get paid. You know what I'm saying, fam?
You're right.
Everybody's gotta make that cha-ching.
I should know that lawyers are expensive. Yeah, we should know. About $1.7 million in salaries for the DOJ. And $5.5 million for the FBI. Oh, the FBI. And $1.8 million for the prison system. So here's the National Security Division, right? Salaries and expenses for an additional amount for salaries and expenses, $1,700,000 to remain available until September 30th, 2022.
For additional workload related to the attack on the United States Capitol complex that occurred on January 6th.
They're still just no matter what they didn't get the results they wanted. They really thought all craziness was going to break loose. I thought craziness was going to break loose. It didn't. And
they write legislation for their additional workload when the American people are fucking having additional workload, getting back into fucking these low wage jobs. Burger King or
while they're
restaurants.
taking away more of your rights and civil liberties. By
and
the
giving
way,
themselves better protections on their civil liberties
and more money.
Yeah.
So the Federal Bureau of Investigation salaries and expenses for an additional amount for salaries and expenses, $5.5 million to respond to the attack on the United States Capitol complex that occurred on January 6, 2021. What more money? What else do they have to do? And to prevent similar incidents, which shall be in addition to amounts otherwise available. Okay. And here it is, federal prison system, salaries and expenses. For an additional amount for salaries and expenses, $1.8 to respond to the attack on the United States Capitol complex that occurred on January 6 and to prevent similar incidents.
This is crazy.
All this
prison
money.
System.
The prison system.
They're funding the prison system.
I thought we wanted to end private prisons. I thought we wanted to defund the police. I thought we wanted to stop the secrecy of these national security agencies and the FBI, which was found to have murdered the vast majority of civil rights activists, including Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, who just had a birthday the other day.
This is crazy.
Are you serious?
This is crazy.
This is a squad.
I thought this was gonna be a slow news day. It is not. I really did.
Shout out to Slow News Day
for Steve. You know what I'm saying? But I really did, and it's and just when you guys were going over this, you know, and that's the thing sometimes, because I was watching a clip from some people on the floor the other day about this whole situation, and I was just like, I can't deal with this shit no more. They're really trying to make January 6th be like this worst thing that happened since the Civil War.
Yeah.
They when Biden said that shit in his speech when he went to Congress in that joint session. I mean, I was like, stop trying to make this happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, one person did die, and that was a sad situation. But I mean,
by the authority.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ashley Babbitt was killed by police.
By police.
Ryan Sicknick did not die.
No.
From a fire extinguisher or bear mace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we don't know that, fam.
No, we know. They already admitted it. They had to admit it, like retract for the third time. All of mainstream media.
Yeah.
With with impunity, right? They never are accountable to anybody. Okay. So here's my question, right? Are we expecting more attacks?
Yeah.
Because the Department of Defense gets $231 million for the National Guard and $28.9 million for personnel to respond to attacks. $218,500,000 for Army operation and maintenance, and this is just for the Capitol, by the way. So this is the full. I put in the link for everybody to put in on the thread to look at the bill themselves. Yeah. But here's the Department of Defense military personnel. You can see that $231 million
to respond to the attack.
Yep. And to prevent similar incidents. They keep saying that, right?
Same thing, yeah.
So what are they expecting to happen?
Pre-crime.
Right? What are they expecting? $28.9 million to respond to the attack. Again, Air Force, National Guard, blah, blah, blah. This is separate. I just want to reiterate that. This isn't like the normal defense bill.
This is extra money.
This is extra money.
They just came out of it out of nowhere with it.
For specifically January 6th, which already happened months ago, and to prevent something similar. In addition to everything else they've done, all the other legislation they're pushing that's going to crack down on your civil liberties. This is in addition to that, right?
Fam, that's chump change. The Pentagon's lost more than that in 1 year.
Guys, this should be an outrage. People need to be talking about this. This is disgusting. The squad, your beloved squad, beloved Mama Bear, AOC, freaking Rashida Tlaib, Palestinian Rashida Tlaib giving more money to the police and the defense industry. This is what I mean by our domestic policy is directly tied to our foreign policy. This is exactly what I mean.
The same
you
people
cannot
getting
on
that
one
money.
end.
Yeah.
The same people are getting
that
the
money's
fucking
getting
money.
funneled into that same fucking crowd again, once again. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're sitting there, what's your vote to give more money to the FBI, CIA, Department of Homeland Security, all these military-industrial complex for defense to create more gas bombs, more rubber bullets and whatnot, and to also give you extra protection for individuals when they go along Congress, not the people. What's your vote? Present. Get the fuck out of here.
It does nothing.
You allowed that bill. That bill. Listen, fam. That vote might as well have been a yay vote because that's what it did.
That's what
it's the same thing as a yay vote.
Yep.
And she just provided herself some cover by voting present. Bullshit.
That's what they did.
It was a yay vote.
It
was a yay vote.
And then the thing is with this, it's remember when people got shit for impeachment when it was a symbolic bullshit, like impeachment is like, come on, like, okay, this has consequences on us, on you, on anybody that goes to DC to protest, on anybody that goes this is setting a precedent now, because on top of this just happening on Capitol Hill, what's going on in other states is that they're doing anti-protest bills.
Yeah. I guess Ron DeSantis isn't the only one, fam.
No, he's not. They're all
I
in
guess
conjunction.
the squad's okay with it.
Guess you know why? Because people are fed up.
Yeah.
Because people are done with it. Why do you think so many people went out for Palestine? People are seeing what's happening. They're like, we just had a whole year of protests. They know that the public is not happy. They know that the public doesn't trust the government. Why do you think so many people fell for QAnon, which is an obvious psyop? Because how do we trust the government? Of course I'm going to make up a theory if you don't trust the government. Yeah. Like, what do you think is on their minds here? They're protecting themselves from an eventual, like, maybe armed, perhaps not, I don't know, pushback from the public. Look at what happened. We're going to talk about Palestine and what actually probably caused Netanyahu to agree to a ceasefire, because we need to learn from that as well. What Palestinians did and how they resisted is very important.
So to summarize, fam, the Democrats' the house that has Democrats,
the progressives
approved a bill
Yep.
that gives money to police, makes them have their own private security detail.
Mm-hmm.
Is all this money for the National Guard, for the defense, and it's all for the Capitol Police, and they pulled this money out of nowhere.
Well, they always have money for defense. They pull that out of nowhere.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, Republicans are against it.
Yeah.
Everything is ass backwards.
Everything is.
And on your point, fam, to the point where you said that they're worried about an armed protest. Armed protests were legal in this country at some point.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Black Panthers went and protested with their arms at the fucking California Capitol.
Sacramento.
And that was legal before.
Yeah.
Open carry.
It is in the Declaration of Independence and in the Constitution that you are
the
allowed
right to bear arms.
The right to bear arms, and not only that, you have the right to protest your government, especially if they have failed you.
Yeah.
In fact, it is in the Declaration of Independence that you have the right to overthrow your government if they are failing you. People need to remember that. It is actually in the law. That's the law. So if you're going to change the law, then change a lot of the law. Don't just change the parts that are convenient for you, by the way. They are infringing upon your civil liberties. This isn't the first time. We know that the DHS is using specific technology to spy on Americans. The DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, the Post Office has a division that is also monitoring people's social media. There are the anti-protest bills all over, like so many states right now. And on top of that, of course, we have the usual national security state pushing their spying on Americans, telling you that you can't talk about COVID alternative methods. You can't talk about elections. Big tech is involved in this. They're working in tandem with the government. All of our civil liberties and all of our rights are being stripped. Simultaneously, the police are getting more money. The military is getting more money. And Congress, politicians are getting protections in case you decide to protest them. Because guess what? It's about time to go to Nancy Pelosi's house. It's about time to go show up at these people's homes and make them uncomfortable. We've been saying that. It's time for direct action. Direct actions are popping out of everywhere because people are fucking fed up. Simultaneously, they know this, and they're like, oh, we need to amp up our security because we don't want these people to come in. All cops are bastards unless they're protecting me.
Exactly.
And that's what's fucking happening. It's fucking disgusting, and everybody should be outraged about this.
Yeah. And like we said, the president vote was a yay vote as far as I'm concerned. Anything else before I read Embel Fate's, Ray?
It's your right to protest.
It
is.
Right.
With arms.
It is. Yeah.
That's now gone.
Embel Fate says, are you guys still checking on streaming on Odyssey like Hard Lens does? Yeah, we'll check it out. We'll see what's going on. Hunter C, thank you so much for the super rec. Always appreciate it on the couch. And
thank you, Hunter.
This looks like a new person. Ronnie Graham. Best wishes from Scotland to the Convo Couch. Love the work you do.
I want to go to Scotland so bad. That's the one part of the UK I didn't get to go. So, fam, let's go to Scotland.
Scottish whiskey. I need it.
We have 261 people watching on the YouTubes, about 56 people watching on the Rokfin. Let's get that number up. It's lowering down a little bit. We want to move it up. Smash the like button, the thumbs up, wherever you're watching from. Smash it, smash it, smash it. We need it. Fam, let's talk about Netanyahu, your favorite person. BB's out there, right?
God.
I mean, we saw a crazy week, or it was close to 2 weeks of just endless bombing.
Endless
loss
bombing.
Of lives.
Yeah,
and
91,000 people displaced.
Yes.
Right? Over 230 people dead, 65 of them children.
Oh, yep.
Most people, the average median age, by the way, in my research, I can't remember where it was, but is 17 and a half years old of Palestine. Yeah. That's the average median age of the country. Just so you guys know, when you're killing Palestinians, you're killing kids.
Yeah.
So this is according to Reuters. Israel and Hamas claim victory as ceasefire holds. So the ceasefire is holding. They agreed on a ceasefire yesterday, or basically today. For us today, for them yesterday. After their forces ended 11 days of fighting. But of course, 91,000 people are displaced, so it's going to take forever to rebuild. Guess what they're going to rebuild though? They're not going to rebuild Palestine. They're going to rebuild Israel. They're going to continue, because this ceasefire doesn't mean that Palestinians aren't living in apartheid. The ceasefire doesn't mean that Palestinians have access to water. The ceasefire doesn't mean that Palestinians have access to regular food or deliveries or help from other people. By the way, I have to reiterate this because there's a lot of people supposedly raising money for Palestinian children, right? Guys, directly from people who have been in Palestine, directly from Palestinians, you cannot, it is next to impossible to send funds to Palestinians. If you're sending it to a charity, chances are that's not getting to these kids. It's not. So I'm sorry to break it to you, but giving money to YouTubers living in Beverly Hills, I don't know what to tell you. Even if they give it all to this charity, the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, which is, by the way, made up of a vast number of NGOs, including the WHO, the World Health Organization, is not going to get to these people. Yeah. That is straight from the mouth of people who have lived in the region and people from the region.
Well, that's been a common thing
so
too,
you know.
fam. Yeah. I think George Carlin said that taking away United States foreign aid is like taking away money from poor people in a first world country and giving it to rich people in a third world country. You know what I'm saying? All that money gets funneled into all these fugazi groups too as well, and never hits where it's coming from. I like the fact that it says, can I read this one line? It says, as Palestinians and Israelis began to assess the scale of damage, one Gazan said his neighborhood looked like it had been hit by a tsunami, and not Johnny. How can the world call itself civilized? As he was standing next to a rubble of a 14-story tower that had been just knocked the hell down, and Johnny's showing a lot of those pictures right now.
The cost is
disgusting. Look at that.
Palestinian officials put the cost for reconstruction at tens of millions of dollars. Do you think Israel is going to spend tens of millions of dollars to reconstruct Palestinians?
Yeah, no way.
No, they're not. They in fact take away supplies for them to reconstruct their houses.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, if you don't do this, then we're going to take away your house. I mean, this is a reality. Yeah. And again, I put that interview with Eva Bartlett. She's lived there in the region. You guys should listen to that interview. She's a wealth of knowledge. And I have one from Marwa, who is a Beirut-based journalist. And she considers herself Palestinian as well. And she just said so much on the situation. And you need to hear from her perspective why condemning Hamas isn't, it's just ridiculous, right? Yeah. And it's just bad. All of this that's happened, it doesn't end all of this, right? Because is Israel going to be held accountable for all the people they killed?
No.
I mean, come on.
Fam, Israel has the right to protect themselves when bottle rockets are shot at them. I shouldn't say that, too, because there are 10 people who died in Israel and whatnot. But, I mean, it is very... I mean, you're talking about, once again, we're talking about the newest weapons, precision-guided weapons that they do the knocking. They give you 30 seconds to get out of the place, and then all of a sudden here comes a missile out of nowhere taking down the whole building. We've seen this live. We've seen this happen on a regular basis. It's very lopsided. You know what I'm saying?
One more thing I wanted to say is that in my interview with Marwa yesterday, she basically said that the Palestinians are demanding certain things. And if those things aren't met, that doesn't mean that this ends right there. But what is happening in Palestine is something that people need to know. That the factions were divided. There were different parties, and they were all divided. They all had, like here, right? The left is so divided, right? She said she wishes that here in America, people could come together and stand up against their government, just like against their government, meaning over there in Palestine. All of these Palestinian factions and parties came together and stood to stand up against Israel. And that's why they were able to resist. They were able to come together and use their intelligence and use whatever weapons they were able to get from Lebanon and Syria, whatever rockets they were able to get. And mainly they were able to fight and resist on their own because they were offered help. And they said, we should be able to be good for now on our own. The Palestinian people are a very proud people. They're very, they're not just going to sit there and take it. And so that's what happened. So in a way, they do consider a victory because Israel had to back off. But why did Israel have to back off, right? We're going to talk about that. So here's Vanessa Beeley. I just want to read her tweet real quick. After days of Israeli aggression, war crimes, and infanticide, meaning the murder of babies, because that's literally what happened, the Gaza resistance came out at dawn today to show defiantly that victory is theirs. This is 15 hours ago. Zionists can lick their many wounds. They are exposed as terrorists. Yeah, the world has seen that. Palestinian resistance is revived. Israeli security is dead. Or here it is. Right here you can see that picture. All of these people coming out in solidarity and support. But it doesn't end there, right? This is what sources in Netanyahu's own political party told Ma'ariv newspaper that Bibi is dragging out the fighting in Gaza to prevent his opponent from forming a government.
Yeah, well, this is something we talked about. I looked into the whole situation. Like, Netanyahu did not have enough support to form his own government.
Exactly.
So I would say the speaker of their house went to the opponent with the second most votes and said, you can try to go and form a government right now. And that person's trying to form a government. If that person can get enough allies within the Congress over in Israel, they can form their own government, taking Netanyahu out of power. Because there is a kind of like feeling that a lot of people are just, even within the government in Israel, are just done with Netanyahu.
Yeah.
They don't want him to be the leader anymore. The people don't want him to be the leader anymore. He's using the government to protect him from his own criminal charges, because he's like, criminal charges against him. So that is what's going on. He's trying to, and a lot of people say this too, that when something like this happens in Israel, Netanyahu's playbook is to attack somebody, do something to get this form of nationalism to kind of build behind him. Like, oh, look, he's protecting Jewish people from what's going on in Syria. We just bombed something. We just bombed a plant over there. We got Hezbollah. We got Hamas over here. So they say, look for these things to happen because Netanyahu is a master of doing this when he comes under political power back at home and whatnot. So
right. And I just want to read this part right here. He doesn't seem to have a real desire to eradicate Hamas. Relations between the Arabs in Israel and Jews are being left in ruins. This advisor said Netanyahu is galloping towards a fifth election and taking the country hostage.
Yep.
The collapse of right-wing chairman Naftali Bennett gives him a boost, but support for him within the Likud is weakening.
That's his party. Yeah.
This is, and that's the thing. That's what we were talking about, too, in one of our chats with the fams, is that doesn't mean anything. You get rid of Netanyahu, we've seen this. We've talked about this before. Yeah. There are others like him or worse ready to take power.
Yeah.
They're going to paint it as if this is some victory. We got rid of Netanyahu. If that happens, right? The next guy's going to be just as bad, because this isn't about who is in power as far as the presidency or as far as the leadership. This is about the systemic power, the military industrial complex. Israel is basically our gigantic military base in West Asia. And that's what they are. That's what they've been for a long time. That's why Biden wanted to create. He said if we didn't have Israel, we'd have to create another.
We have to find another place for our base.
Exactly. That's
military base.
Basically it, guys. And it's crazy. So look out for that happening. And I also have to mention the Syrian elections are coming up as well. Mm-hmm. So this is what Steve put up, right? This is from the Electronic Intifada. Like I said, always read their articles related to West Asia. The UN said that some 91,000 people in Gaza were internally displaced as a result of Israel's bombing. Around 66,000 sought refuge at dozens of UN-flagged schools across Gaza, where at least one baby was born, while the remainder stayed with host families. So we're not even thinking about the people who are displaced, who are alive, but they're displaced. In the absence of international accountability, a repeat of the last 11 days of Israeli terror in Gaza is all but guaranteed. Yeah, this is going to happen. Guess what? If you are a criminal, there's no accountability to you. You're going to keep doing it because you haven't gotten caught. Accountability must rise to the top of the agenda of the United Nations, a group of human rights experts stated earlier this week. That message appears to have been ignored by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who called for a return to the failed approach of a negotiated two-state solution while urging for a ceasefire on Thursday. Palestinian groups and unions, political movements and unions worldwide have called on the UN to investigate Israel's regime of apartheid over the Palestinian people as a whole, because that's still happening. Human rights groups have called on the Intel Crime Court to probe Israel's targeting of civilians and civilian infrastructure in Gaza, including towers housing media offices. Again, Netanyahu just completely okayed the whole thing, right?
What did Steve write?
Steve said 91,000 human beings in an open-air prison are homeless. They do not have freedom of movement. They do not. There's no bomb shelters. Let me add, there's no bomb shelters in Palestine. They do not have clean water. They also have next to no way to receive direct aid. Israel will not be held accountable unless the West stops being afraid of optics and ends this apartheid.
Yeah. They don't have bomb shelters too as well, because that was something that happened years ago, is that they targeted people who were building like underground tunnels to try to protect themselves, saying that these were underground tunnels that went into Israel to smuggle weapons through Egypt at one point. And therefore they went, and that's why they did those cluster bombs, fam, because they wanted to go into the ground, and blowing everything up in the ground. Even though if the people were just building like bomb shelters underneath their house to try to, protect themselves from these bombs, they still looked at them as like, no, they're building tunnels to transport weapons. And that's why they use these certain bunker busters, they're called. They go into the ground, create grit, and they kill everything underneath. So there are no bomb shelters. There's nowhere to hide. And it's so densely populated. It's like 2 million people in this one area. And it's just an open-air prison. There's a blockade. You see near the water, you think, oh, maybe they can get in the water and get out of there. No, the Israeli Navy's out there waiting for them in case they try to go out there. They'll shoot them down out there as well.
One other thing I wanted to point out in the interview with Marwa that you guys will be seeing is that she talked about how Israel also attacked Lebanon. And I believe it was 2006. They attacked Lebanon. And they also used the excuse that they were building military warehouses underneath schools and underneath houses. They're using the same thing here, saying that underneath these schools, underneath these houses, underneath these hospitals, Hamas is building the intelligence. Even if that was true, that was true, guys, even if they were building things, right? Do they have to bomb these people? Can't they just say, oh, well, that you're doing this, like let's get out of there, blah blah blah? No, it's an excuse. They know what they're doing.
In Lebanon, they were blaming Hezbollah. In Palestine, they blame Hamas. It's like, I got that wrong the other day, a couple shows again. My friend reminded me and stuff like that. But still, once again, it's the same excuse, whoever it is. And these are movements out there that are really the people are really kind of going towards, because they're the only ones willing to stand up and fight against Israel. So
one of the things that I think we need to see more of is boycott, divest, and sanction. Here it is. The Maldives, smallest Muslim country, has suspended all kinds of relations with Israel and shown its solidarity with Palestinian people. There it is, including a ban on Israeli products. So they're banning Israeli products. Mm-hmm. I think there needs to be more of that. Israel needs to feel, at least, if not, the economic part of it, the economic side of it. And here's what I wanted to point out, because I've seen so many Zionists come out of the woodworks, right? This has been a revelation. Another revelation we had, right? We had Force the Vote reveal a lot of things. Yeah. We had this Palestine reveal a lot of things. Lovely watching all the America First, and this kind of goes into the culture war section too.
Oh, yeah.
Far right back Israel, right? I thought it was America First. All these illegals taking our money. Look, they're getting free healthcare. Well, Israel's getting free healthcare on your dime. Israel's getting money on your dime. A country with a longer life expectancy and better lives because they take our money, while Zionist liberals stand right there with them. All these conservatives and that hate all these libtards, well, you guys are in agreement when it comes to Israel. It shows you who really is consistent, and it's not either of them. So don't fall for their culture war. And again, like Pasta's going to talk more about that, but I just wanted to point that out, because it's like, this is where you see really who's really consistent here. Like, are you anti-war? Are you just anti-war if it goes with my ideology or whatever? Like, it's like, no, dude. Like, this isn't how it works, right? Do you want to show something?
Real quick, fam. So while the Maldives are boycotting Israel, you have Germany here actually meeting with Bibi. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to show this real quick.
I just had a very productive meeting with Minister Maas from Germany. Expressed our support for the unwavering position of Germany in supporting our right of self-defense. And it comes from the heart, not only representing the government, but the people of Israel in our time of need. So thank you. I described during our meeting that while we're fighting on various fronts, the true backer of much of this aggression is Iran. Iran not only supports completely the Islamic Jihad in Gaza and gives them all the financing, they also give weapons to Hamas as well as to Hezbollah, and they provide the scaffolding on which these organizations really work. While we were engaged in these hostilities a few days ago, Iran sent an armed drone to Israel from Iraq or from Syria. Iranian forces launched a armed drone, which our forces intercepted on the border between Israel and Jordan. And that, I think, says everything on the true patron of terror in the Middle East and in the world, Iran.
I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And you've been a great friend, and it's said with gratitude from the people of Israel.
Where's the meme?
Thank you very much. You can count on me, and you can count on
Nazi
us.
Thank you very much. I think we can shake hands, even though
handshake.
The COVID is under control. Thank you.
Who would have thought? Imagine being back in 1942 and saying, "Hey, Israel, the Jewish state of Israel is going to stand in line with Germany."
Well, no, Germany is standing in line with Israel.
Yeah, well, right, on both ends.
There was
against the genocide of Palestinian.
When it comes to the elites, there was back in the day, there was a Zionist Nazi coin way back in the day. So, but I mean, it's like anything's possible, I guess, at this point. So.
I wanted to read Mohammed Smiri's tweet.
Name.
Okay. After ceasefire, don't stop your protests. Don't return to your homes. We want an end to the blockade.
Oh, yeah.
We want full treatment for cancer patients. We want to travel abroad. We want people from around the world to visit us. # Gaza. Because a lot of Americans want this, a ceasefire, yay. We went out there, we did our thing, and now that's it. Moving on to the next thing. Yeah. No, fuck that. Like, that's not okay. This is what I want. A really great point Ashley made. I want to point this out, right? She said, this is Ashley Hudson. She said, weird how Palestinian workers, she's Palestinian, acted collectively to shut down the Israeli economy for all of one day, and suddenly Netanyahu is calling for a ceasefire. It's almost as if a general strike is IDK, the most effective thing oppressed classes can do to demand basic human rights, right? Because Netanyahu called the ceasefire after these Palestinians completely shut down the economy, right? Guys, we can learn from this, right? We can learn from this. She said, make no mistake, though, the fight is far from over. Every day is Nakba Day. We cannot give up now. Do you call yourself an ally? If so, then don't abandon Palestinians. Stay the course. A ceasefire does nothing to end the forced demolition of expulsion from Palestinian homes, daily incremental genocide, and this is what Marwa and Eva Bartlett also talked about, medical apartheid, the 50+% unemployment rate, few hours of day of electricity, the 4% clean drinking water, etc. Systemic change is critical to liberation. And again, it's liberation too, above a lot of things, right? Because that's what it is. And again, even in Syria, whenever we interview Vanessa Bailey, we can only interview her at certain times because the electricity gets shut off. That's not, imagine living like that. How could we do this show? How could we do half the things? We don't even think about things like that. Oh, well, they don't have electricity for certain hours of their day. This is disgusting. I mean, this is nothing. And here it is, guys. This is pasta. Just I'll let you read this because it's your Uncle
this
Joe.
week, just in, President Joe Biden addresses ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. In my conversation with Mr. President Netanyahu, I condemned him for the decision to bring the current hostilities to a close. Huh?
I commended him.
I commended him. What did I say?
Where are your glasses, fam?
Did I say commended him?
No.
Oh, I commended him for his decision to bring the current hostilities to close within less than 11 days.
Folks, I've just spoken with Prime Minister Netanyahu. Earlier today, I spoke with President al-Sisi of Egypt. Prime Minister Netanyahu informed me that Israel has agreed to a mutual unconditional ceasefire to begin in less than 2 hours. The Egyptians have now informed us that Hamas and the other groups in Gaza have also agreed. In my conversation with President Netanyahu, I commended him for the decision to bring the current hostilities to a close within less than 11 days. I also emphasized what I've said throughout this conflict. The United States fully supports Israel's right to defend itself against indiscriminate rocket attacks from Hamas and other Gaza-based terrorist groups that have taken the lives of innocent civilians in Israel. Folks, I've just...
All right. So he's pushing a ceasefire because of public outcry, but really he's saying Israel has the right to defend themselves. So you're saying they have a right to... who started the bombing? That's right. That was Israel. Israel started the bombing because Palestinians didn't want to get evicted from their homes they've been in. So Israel started the bombing. Then, of course, the resistance came back and retaliated and killed 10 people. I'm not saying that Israeli lives don't matter. 10 people, okay. But we're talking about over 230 Palestinians. We're talking about targeted weapons directly to civilians, knowing that civilians were going to die. And then the whole gaslighting. Biden is a piece of shit warmonger. He has always been. This is nothing new. This is who he is. We knew that.
This is why we voted out fascism.
This is why we were so mad that progressives were justifying Biden to us and making us look like we were the bad guys. We knew this was going to happen. Yeah. And we wish we were wrong, but we knew that was going to happen.
And just to reiterate, too, the ceasefire doesn't stop the blockade. It doesn't stop the bad drinking water. It doesn't stop the fact they have limited electricity. It doesn't stop the fact they can't travel anywhere. It doesn't stop the fact that nobody can come into their country and they can't make money off tourism or anything else. It doesn't stop the fact that they're still living in the worst conditions in the entire fucking world.
Over 50% unemployment.
Right? Over 50. It doesn't stop all that shit. It doesn't stop the fact that Israelis are going to still continue to evict Palestinians in certain areas in East Jerusalem, West Jerusalem, wherever they're going to now.
Sheikh Jarrah, are they going to stop the evictions in Sheikh Jarrah? Because if that doesn't stop, you think Palestinians aren't going to stand by and let it happen?
I lose track where they're evicting them. They've been evicting Palestinians for years. It's not going to stop any of that shit.
The worst part is, fams, and Johnny, I'm just going to read a small little paragraph of this, all right?
From Mint Press.
From Mint Press. Great article. The American arms makers are making a killing, no pun intended, off of Israel's slaughter in Gaza. Major arms and aircraft manufacturers Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon are reaping massive profits from Israel's assault on Gaza and are expected to see their earnings boom with the $250 million arms deal the Biden administration is trying to push through, which they will likely push through, as we just went over. But I wanted to read this part here at the very end. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, I'll read a couple of these. So the Boeing makes the F-15 fighter jets, and Lockheed Martin manufactures the F-16 and F-35 warplanes. These are not the only American corporations involved in the production of the Israel's military craft. General Electric produces the engines F-15 and F-16 jets. Raytheon Technology creates the missiles used to arm the F-15 and F-35 planes. According to the American Friends Service Committee's investigative database, Northrop Grumman manufactures approximately 35% of Lockheed Martin's F-35 aircraft, including its center fuselage, radar, avionics, electro-optics, navigation, communications and identification, subsystems, and mission systems and mission planning software. Okay, they've also partnered with the Israeli military industry to build a lightning targeting pod, a weapons laser navigation system used on F-16 warplanes. Military sales to Israel generate massive profits for these American corporations. Boeing secured $2.4 billion sale to Israel from the U.S. State Department last year. In February, the aerospace behemoth scored a whopping $9 billion deal with Israel's Ministry of Defense. In the last decade, Raytheon's contracts to Israel have totaled more than $4 billion. Lockheed Martin's most recent sale to Israel is estimated at more than $2 billion. In 2016, General Electric obtained part of a $300 million sale to Israel. Northrop Grumman is less transparent about its international sales. Out of the Northrop Grumman's reported $36.8 billion in sales in 2020, 14% were international. They did not respond to any requests for comment from the press.
I'm trying to think for a second. Who worked at Raytheon that is now part? He was on the board of Raytheon. Who's the head guy over at the Pentagon now?
My mind. General
Lloyd Austin.
Oh,
there's no conflict of interest there.
None.
No. Why would he even, permit this stuff? And he was on the board of Raytheon.
Have we even heard him say anything besides Israel has the right to defend himself? No, of course not. Guys, this is systemic, right? This is what I mean. Like, you can't just... What is the solution? Or do you think we're going to have some sort of bill miraculously make it through Congress to stop this? No. Guys, it's time. It's time. We need movements in the streets. This is an empire. You live in a goddamn empire where you have less and less and less rights every day. Okay. Meanwhile, these people have more rights and they're above you. It's an elite class, a predator class.
Intersectional imperialism.
We live in a fascist authoritarian state.
Such
increasingly.
The guy was sitting on the board of fucking Raytheon, and now he's the head of the Pentagon. He's the head guy.
Disgusting.
He's the one who's been tapped on the shoulder to give advice to Joe Biden on what country we should bomb and shouldn't bomb.
The more Palestinians we kill, the more money they make. The more people in the global south we kill, the more money they make. Johnny, how does it feel to be reading this after, I know when I knew many engineers at UCF in Florida, and I know you were pursued. You were looking into these jobs. Like, this is what you were going to do.
Yeah. For those who don't know, I studied and graduated with a bachelor's in aerospace engineering. And, the big push for engineers in general is kind of interesting now that you see this list of all this fucking money, right?
Yeah.
The push for engineers is to get fucking people in there to make all this shit, right? So then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, holy shit, these are all the companies that I'm supposed to be applying to as an aerospace engineer, even as a mechanical engineer.
These
are the top companies.
People were looked at as good.
People are like, oh my god, Boeing, and then you get so much respect for getting a job at Boeing. Good job. Everyone's like, oh yeah, good fucking job.
Way to go.
And then you're making fucking bombs and warplanes and missiles. And no one can ever pay me enough to fucking look the other way while I fucking do that. Give my creativity and my
Yeah. It's part of empire education, Johnny.
Yeah.
my
They're
attention
using
to
your
detail. You know what I'm
geniusness.
saying? Yeah.
No, your brain. But that's the whole thing, Johnny. You know, I just watched a video on Operation Paperclip.
It's disgusting.
They don't care, dude. They use you. They think that you're in there for science. You're in there just to who's at the end. Who's benefiting from all the science? Who's benefiting from all the education that you did at the end of the day? They want you to get in there. Johnny's really emotional because he realized that everything he studied for so long, everything he put his blood, sweat, and tears right now, how many years? I mean, I can just see Johnny thinking about what he was, all the homework and doing, and what it was going to be used for.
But it shouldn't be used for that. That's the thing. It should be used to build new technology to help people, not to fucking obliterate people. Like, that's the thing. Like, you think, oh, great, I'm going to go and become an innovator and you know, like, be a pioneer of science, and then they fucking make you a tool for the fucking military industrial complex. And I had roommates. My roommate worked for Northrop Grumman, and like it was like, oh, women in engineering, we're breaking barriers. I'm like one of the only females in engineering. This is great. I'm like, exactly. And that's how they sell it to you. Yeah. That's how they do it, because this is like, and now you know that if you work in that industry, specifically though, as an engineer, it's one thing to work as like a, you know, like low level employee. It's another thing to actually be engineering these weapons, because that's what you do. You literally do that. And you are held to high regard by your peers, by all of society. Yeah. Oh my God, an engineer working, wow. These are the jobs you want to get when you're graduating college. Johnny went on interviews with some of these people. This is what is deemed just such high esteem in American society, and you wonder why the fuck Americans can't even point Palestine on a map. Why? Because they're not meant to. You're meant to see these people as not existing, as lesser than. We got to stop that. It has to end. This won't end with a bill. It won't end by electing more AOCs or more Rashida Tlaibs, because they will fold, just like you have seen every single fucking time. It's only going to end when you stand up and end it yourself. When we have a movement that is going to say, I don't want my tax dollars, I don't want people to think that I'm okay with my government killing fucking babies in Palestine, or my government sanctioning people all over the world that ends up causing civil war. What's happened to the global south, what's happening, all of this, our blood is in the hands of every single president up until now. Every single one of them has actually been complicit in the genocide of Palestinians, in the genocide of Yemen people, in the genocide of people all over global south who are enduring civil unrest. Everything that's happening in Colombia, everything that happened in Bolivia, everything that's happened in Venezuela, all of that. Yeah. It's tied to this empire. And it's time we stop pretending we are part of a great country. This is an empire. The people might be good. There's a lot of good American people that we can say we love and appreciate. There's a lot of them. It's not your fault. But you have to start speaking against it.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. We think about the Convo Couch, how it started, whatnot, and everything. And Johnny, man, I'm glad that you came out here on vacation and you never went back. Because we see how talented you are over here with this situation. I'm glad you weren't talented for them, because they have all the everything. They have all the ammunition in their pockets to get you, give you a lifestyle, give you money, give you a sense of goodwill that you're doing stuff for society, whatnot. But at the end of the day, you know, when you do this job over here and we start looking into government, we start looking down the rabbit holes, we see where the funding and the resources go. We understand who's pulling the strings at the end of the day, and it is all for evil. And I'm glad you're here with us and not with them, Johnny.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of it had to do with making that stand, because I don't know anybody else who's done a stand like that. Or, you know, I don't know.
I don't either.
It needs to be a movement.
Yeah.
Wake up. There needs to be a movement in the universities and colleges to make all these people that are trying to be an engineer aware, hey, all the job prospects that you're doing, that you're going after, are actually going to go help make missiles and bombs and fighter jets and all that. Yeah. And you're gonna be okay with that, right? You're gonna see these videos of Palestinian kids with their legs fucking gone, and you're gonna be okay with that, right? That you're contributing to that, right?
Exactly.
You'll be okay with that, right?
They won't.
That's what we need to start. That's what we need to get going, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because we gotta educate people. We gotta let people know.
Yeah.
So then
Well, I just saw that moment that I think that in your face that you would just kind of recognized all those years you spent and all that hard work you spent in college and what they were kind of prepping you to do. You know, I mean, can you imagine what you were thinking the whole time you were studying that stuff?
Yeah.
You know, we talked to Rachel Brunke. We talk about these machineries, like this weaponry, these F-15s, these F-16s, which are used by the Israeli government, by the military, excuse me. They are some of the best, you know, engineering pieces of equipment out there, right? They're just amazingly engineered. But what are they engineered for? They're engineered for war. We need to find a way to engineer peace. And
there are so many things you could be putting good engineers to use, and engineering new types of energies, new types of way to like stop, you know, the just wasteful energy use with oil and nuclear power. New energies. Think of the things, that possibilities that the human mind could accomplish if our focus wasn't on destruction.
Yeah. Well, if we had a different mindset and we didn't have what was going on in this world, you can think about all the inventions that were made and how good they would be used.
I mean, let alone look at the train systems in other countries. Look at something as basic as
China. You can get around that whole country.
How fast? How better airplanes, faster airplanes, like energy, you know, reduce, like just healthier for the environment. All these things, but no, our number one focus is war. Is all of that, and we're training the young generations, the new generations of people to have that mindset as well.
Yeah. Guys, get over to the Rokfin, Rokfin. Anything else to say on this right here before I read some super chats, guys?
Go ahead.
You guys good? I'm very happy with the Convo Couch is at and stuff. And we can all, you know what I'm saying, we all have made choices to try to educate people and get it out there. And, you know, it is a privilege what we do. But when you understand who's pulling the strings and you start looking into that stuff, it gets very, very scary out there. And you understand clearly it's about control. It's about death. The way the elites or the predator class look at us, they are the predator class because they look at us like mice. They don't care about death. They don't care about Palestinian kids getting killed. They don't care about them, you know, whatsoever. All they care about is their toys, their weaponry, and their control. Yep. Shadowban Refugee, thank you so much for the super ray. He says, bitch-ass Israeli terrorist forces use Hamas as human shields to kill as many Palestinian civilians as possible. Abolish the fascist Israeli, make Palestine again.
So they turn it around, though. They say that Hamas uses their people as human shields. Yeah. That's not true.
Keep Left says, thank you so much for the super ray. It's always appreciated on the couch. Christopher Dobby left one. He says, I don't know how cucked are those German elites, huh? LOL. Embl Fateh, I feel you, Johnny. I'm only half American. I want to be an engineer for my people outside the U.S. and within. I don't plan on helping kill people. But if my only options were to help the murderers, I'd be depressed too. That's from Embl Fateh. Sending you out a package, Embl Fateh. We love you. And Dr. Dragon says, love and respect. Dr. Dragon, love and respect to you too.
Dr. Dragon.
Thank you so much for that super ray contribution. Guys, smash the like button. If you're over on the YouTube, get on over to the Rokfin. Sign up for free. Did we want to talk about these? Did we do all these?
No, we did them.
Oh, these are my sec. This
That's
is this.
Your
oh, my sec. Because I thought it was going to be like an easy, like kind of slow news day, and we were just going to put up some tweets of some things I like. Robbie Receipts put some stuff up, fam. This is the news section. We're calling this section, by the way. We're going to go over a few things. I titled it Crypto Culture Wars and Dark Money. And it's kind of crazy because a lot of things tie into each other. So, fam, we talked about the Chinese scare, the Russian scare, right, for the Democrats. Well, lobbyists from Russian Pipeline donated over $540,000 to Democrats since 2017.
Isn't that Russian interference?
Hello? Hello?
Robbie Receipts.
Robbie Receipts. He's bringing it up again. According to FEC records, Vincent Roberti, one of the DNC's most powerful lobbyists and owner of his own firm, Roberti Global, has donated nearly $540,000 to Democratic Party institutions and candidates since 2017, while also funding nearly $250,000 more. During the same time frame, Roberti has been paid over $7,700,000 by Nord Stream 2 AG, a Swiss-based company that is 100% owned by Gazprom, the Russian state oil giant in charge of the controversial Nord Stream 2 pipeline project, which Biden administration will reportedly waive sanctions on. So they're there, fam. The WWE wrestling, they act like they're anti-Putin, whatnot. They act like they're anti-Russian, and yet They're making money.
Yeah.
Roberti donated $512,680 exclusively to Democratic institutions such as the DCC and candidates such as Speaker Pelosi, Amy Klobuchar, Representative Eric Swalwell, and numerous others from 2017 to 2020, and continues to do so this year, where the K Street powerhouse has already spent $31,900 funding Democrats for re-election in 2022, most notably maxing out $5,800 to Senator Majority Leader Chuck the Schmuck Schumer. So, fam,
wow,
we live in a cartoon. Everything is turned on its side.
Yep.
This is the K Street lobbyists. That used to be the big, powerful, neoconservative Republicans living on K Street in D.C. Now it's Democrats, fam.
Because it doesn't matter, guys. It's all one big aisle. One big aisle, Bernie. Did you forget that? One big aisle.
Yeah. Just wanted to point it out. It is one big aisle. It is ridiculous. It is almost funny.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
they're not
anti-Russian. They just want you to be anti-Russian. They want to keep it going.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
It's oligarchs. Oligarchs are always going to be side of oligarchs. Now, this was a great tweet by Magnus. Oh my God, Fiorella's promoting a fascist Nazi boogaloo.
No, listen. This I read some articles yesterday. I didn't really incorporate them into the whole section today because I wanted to really talk about it. We talked about the culture wars, though. We talked about how it really started. And we were talking about how it was in the 80s and 90s, fam. Yeah. It really started in the 60s when a lot of leftists at the time, I want to say. But it was also about, civil rights movement. It was about the pushing back against the anti-gay movement and stuff like that.
Pushing back against the neo-McCarthyism, pushing back against the racism, civil rights, rights
about freedom of speech.
The left was against censorship. Yeah. The left was for free speech advocacy.
The anti-war movement of the 60s.
That was the left.
Wow. Okay. But what happens when it comes into the 80s and 90s now the conservatives all bugged out. They start going with their own culture war movement because they felt that their conservative values are being stripped away.
So they
had to put in legislation. Yeah, they were the snowflakes. They had to put in legislation to fight back against it. You can't burn the flag. You got to get a sentence for that. You can't kneel for the whatchamacallit, the national anthem. You know what I'm saying? They were protecting that stuff. They were trying to be push back laws against abortion across the whole country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They flipped it on its nose. But let's go ahead and read this here because I think this is an amazing, amazing tweet by Magnus. Would you like to read it or do you want me to read it?
Dear cultural conservatives, you can complain about the woke stuff all you want, but almost all of it is built on the foundations of conservative state meddling in the culture back in the 80s and 90s. The think of the children idea formed many of these institutions. To the woke crowd, culture hacking using these corporate and state institutions that were originally built by the conservative right to further your goals will inevitably backfire as well. As we're already seeing to a degree, the government cannot legislate culture. If you keep putting more nails in the government bat each time you pass it back and forth, eventually you might end up on the club side of it. There's and even the conspiracy theory aspect of it. Back in the day, conspiracy theories were left-wing push crazy talk. The left wings were the ones that were pushing the suspicion in the government. Yeah. The left wing were the ones that were against the CIA, the FBI, the National Security apparatus. Yeah. Now it's like, conservatives are the crazy conspiracy theorists. Like, why do you allow them to manipulate you like that? Yeah. Why do you allow these people to make you just little, like the ball they throw around for back and forth from culture wars? One day it's going to be a Republican, the next it's going to be a Democrat. Yeah. Why don't we just focus on what is the truth?
Yeah, and now it's like the justification for the war machine from the Democrats is disgusting. We just saw this vote over here where they're just amping up the police and all these military contracts are to come in and make money hand over fist, just like they did in Israel, Gaza. You know what I'm saying? The civil liberties situation in the 60s, it was about people like Lenny Bruce, and all these people were like, all these artists who were going to say, we're going to speak out on things we want. Yeah. It might be avant-garde, but we're going to do, it's our voice, we're allowed to do it. Now, here are the Democrats trying to suppress speech because they don't like certain speech. You know what I'm saying? They've got themselves caught in this quagmire, and they are passing this bat back and forth using nails and putting it in there and whatnot. It's ridiculous the way everything is just flipped on its lid. We do live in a cartoon, and I think that was just an amazing tweet by Magnus for him to put it out there because it really is, when you look at it, you think about the 80s and 90s, you're like, wow. And then you think about today and you're like, holy shit. A lot of the left has become what they used to hate.
Yeah.
They've become what they used to hate. Yeah. And just like the way you saw with Robbie's thing over there, all these Democrats now are the K Street lobbyists. They're going with the K Street lobbyists. Everything is flipped on its head, and it's disgusting. I probably should have put this next tweet over here in the section with when we were talking about Netanyahu, but let's not forget about Hamas and how it was created. Here's good old Ron Paul, conservative Republican Ron Paul. Yeah, the conservative libertarian who didn't even back anybody in his party. He said, I'm not backing anybody in this party. He was an individual voice on the right. Here we go.
Especially now, today, the weapons being used to kill so many Palestinians are American weapons, and American funds essentially are being used for this. But there's a political liability, which I think is something that we fail to look at because too often there's so much blowback from our intervention in areas that we shouldn't be involved in. Hamas, if you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat. And you say, well, yeah, that was better then and served its purpose, but we didn't want Hamas to do this. So then we as Americans say, well, we have such a good system, we're going to impose this on the world. We're going to invade Iraq and teach people how to be Democrats. We want free elections. So we encourage the Palestinians to have a free election. They do, and they elect Hamas. So we first indirectly and directly through Israel help establish Hamas. Then we have an election. Then Hamas becomes dominant, so we have to kill them.
Yeah. I mean, you just laid it out right there.
I mean, he said everything there, right? Yeah. Like the fact that we're going around there imposing our way around everybody and stuff. And that's something with family. I think a lot of people talk about, well, they talk about these right-wing governments. We've had left-wing governments in Israel too as well. You know what I'm saying? That have been just as colonizers, just as imperialists as everybody else. We have to stop imposing everything all around the world. You know what I'm saying? And we have to stop this mentality that we can push our ways on everybody else, and it's disgusting. And also the fact, too, that, once again, how did Hamas start? It was okay when it was Yasser Arafat out there and stuff, but now they have their elections, the way we say they should have free elections. They elect Hamas, and we turn around and go, no.
100%.
And you have our people within our Congress, like people like Rashida Tlaib, who should know the history. Who should know the history.
Rashida. What's
saying,
going on? We
condemn Hamas. No, you're manufacturing consent for Israel to bomb.
Palestinians aren't happy with you when you say shit like that.
So dumb.
And that was Ron Paul, back in 2008 or something.
Yeah, when he was still in Congress.
Yep.
It is relevant today because it's the same old fucking playbook. They just keep on changing the outlets in which they tell different stories. You know what I'm saying? They just keep on changing the faces. They just keep on moving things around. And we do live in the United States of amnesia. That was a saying by Gore Vidal, who said that. He goes, what happens will be forgotten in a couple days. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where we live in the United States. They keep on just changing the playbook. The last couple things I want to talk about real quick. Okay, what you got here?
Yeah, kind of still on that topic, right?
Let's do it, yeah.
Breaking as of last night, China is offering emergency humanitarian aid to Palestine. Remember we were talking about China
I said they should let China in, yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
But I was meaning on a military point of view. But here's the thing, right now, okay, they're offering aid. Say a rocket hits a Chinese person, right? A missile hits a Chinese contractor dies. What happens then? You know what I'm saying? This can spin out of control.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, that's why.
Maybe that's why it's good that they're stepping in.
Yes, because Eva Bartlett pointed this out too. It is very problematic for Israel to kill a foreign person.
Oh yeah.
Right? They don't care about killing Palestinians, but if they were to kill an American, a Chinese person, a European, that is an international crime, and that would put them in a grave situation. Now, I don't put it past Israel to do that, but I'm just saying that with China's involvement, it is actually a help because they have to be very careful as to how they proceed in regard to that.
Okay. Really quickly, just want to finish up this section too as well. I just want a little quick talk about crypto. And now before we go into this, in no way, shape, or form are we money managers or giving you money advice. We're just going to talk about crypto right now as a whole and some certain things because it seems over the last several days they've been trying to throw the book at crypto. Remember, crypto is another form of currency that is not controlled by the United States government, and they can't control it right now. I mean, they can probably start their own, try to abolish this somehow. We don't know what they can do, but it is not within their power structure. They don't own this. They don't legislate this money right here, this monetary gains. This is something that was created for it to be by itself, a decentralized currency. But there are some negative aspects to it, whatnot. So they've been trying to throw the book at it since Janet Yellen's come on to play. She got a little distraction with the Wall Street Bets people, which she had to go into that stuff. But they've been trying to throw the book at crypto, okay? So what does this mean for crypto? It says, the Treasury has just announced a new set of rules about reporting crypto transfers because they claim cryptocurrency already possesses a significant detection problem by facilitating illegal activity broadly, including tax evasion. So that's something they also been talking about. They talked about this on my birthday on January 14th, April 14th, excuse me. They talked about January 14th, January 6th and April 14th. April 14th, they talked about this. Once again, they're also trying to kind of frame this fam as criminals. Criminals with illegal activities are using crypto to get around our monetary system so we can't track them. So therefore, this is about criminals using this to, whatnot. If you think timing is coincidental with yesterday's plunge, we have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. As cash transactions, businesses to receive crypto assets with a fair market value of more than $10,000 would also be reported on. The Treasury Department sent a report on a tax enforcement proposal released on Thursday. The Treasury said that comprehensive reporting is necessary to minimize the incentives and opportunity to shift income out of the new information reporting regime, if noted that cryptocurrency is a small share of current business transactions. Now, one thing that's really cool about this whole situation is that all these, not cool, but good, all these plays that are coming into all these measures that are coming into play now, as far as now cryptocurrencies being kind of having to be reported on your taxes, whatnot, aren't going to come into play into 2023. So it's not next year. But this is something that was also in the article. The drop, while of note, is perhaps less than some might expect. However, as several veteran crypto traders noted, this move is positive overall since it suggests regulation is the way ahead of U.S. agencies and not a blanket ban. In other words, they're not going to try to ban it, but they're somewhat recognizing it by doing so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas before, people were like, oh, yeah, Bitcoin's bullshit and stuff. Like, this is kind of a thing. The fact that they're taxing it is a huge deal.
Exactly.
Because it's recognizing it as an actual asset.
It gives it validity.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. It validates. So now, you're going to have a lot of the old-time geezers and everything selling off their fucking crypto, getting scared, getting their money out while they can. And that's why we've seen this plunge in crypto. It's, and also regular every average day, every people need this money, right? The assistance from the government is ending. Maybe they don't have their regular jobs. They got to pull out whatnot. But overall, the floor that it's hitting, if this is the floor, is not that bad. But that wasn't the only coordinated attack, right? They also had a coordinated attack from Elon Musk, that piece of crap.
And the media.
Will coup who we want to coup.
And then the fake news from China.
Of course, the fake news. It was
like one bank.
It was one bank
in China is saying they're not taking transactions from Bitcoin.
Exactly. And what was all over the news, Fox News? My mom said
China bans.
My mom was like, they banned it in China. I'm like, Mom, they didn't ban it in China.
Oh my
I said
God.
they're throwing the book at it. They're going to try to hurt it now. It's a runaway train, and they're going to try to slow it down, and it ain't going to happen. They're even using the avenue, fam, of the whole Elon Musk. We're going away from Tesla using it because it hurts the grid and it's just awful. Tesla backtracked on accepting Bitcoin, but there are car dealers out there that take it. And I just want to read what it says right here by the stuff by Elon Musk because he put it out there. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future. But this cannot come at great cost to the environment, Musk said that day in a formalized statement on Twitter. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we want to intend to use it for transaction as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy. In other words, the whole fact that the mining is very a strain on the grid. There are a lot of solar-powered miners out there too as well, but they need the extra juice, and that is something that really they have to look into, and a lot of people are attacking it that way. Cryptocurrency is bad on the environment. Cryptocurrency is bad on the environment.
It's bullshit because 75% of miners use renewable energy, and then this energy story has been debunked. And then I forgot. I mean, I saw some other tweets. It's like, well, Elon, you're using way more than energy than.
Yeah, because where does our grid get its energy from? He said in the statement in 2017.
Bolivians would have to disagree with you.
Yeah, Bolivians who said when you said, well, coup, we want to coup. In 2017, he made a statement, I believe, that said that he wanted to move all his charging stations to solar powered, but they're not. Like 80% of them use the energy grid. You know what I'm saying? The America's energy grid to get their energy.
Solar power requires you still need you're still gonna need oil and these nuclear industries still to generate solar panels and a solar power energy grid in order to make that happen. That's always the argument from the right. It's like, yeah, you still need some of this industries, and it's like, yeah, you do for now,
but you supplement, right?
But you supplement. It's less. Yeah, but it's again this is God, it's like we talked about it before, like the porn industry.
Yeah.
Uses
well, if you watch porn, if you participate in porn, you're taking up a lot of the electricity grid. You're not going to ban porn, are you? I mean, it's stupid. I mean,
who wants to be the one to throw the first rock at banning porn, guys? Go ahead.
We need to redo the whole energy grid. And this is, I put up a little chart over here. And by the way, Johnny,
engineers that could do that.
Yeah, Johnny had a little, showed a little boy coming out of a mine in the Congo where he gets his lithium from, right? Okay. Most of the lithium is in all these destabilized countries where we help destabilize it so they can take out this lithium on pennies on the dollar. This kid's going down there trying to get dinner tonight, and he's pulling lithium out that's used in all our phones, all our computers and stuff. And when Elon Musk makes a statement, we'll coup who we want to coup, that's okay though. I mean, this guy is a fugazi. Elon Musk, I think Whitney Webb is doing a lot of stuff kind of exposing this asshole. But if you look at this simple chart over here, and this is according to the University of Michigan, where the majority of our energy comes from, 11% comes from coal, 32% come from natural gas, 37% come from petroleum, 8.5% come from nuclear, 11.5% come from renewables. Nothing. Our energy grid is trash. It's disgusting. So if you have all these charging stations, Elon, 4 out of every 5 charging stations come from regular fucking energy off our energy grid. Why aren't you speaking out against that? But now you want to speak out against Bitcoin?
It's just posturing.
When more Bitcoin people are trying to go and use solar power plants, they have all these miners, fam. I just saw videos on them. This guy's like, I just bought 50 acres. Why did I buy 50 acres? Because we're going to move out there. We're going to put solar panels all over our freaking goddamn property, and we're going to use all those solar panels to mine. We're going to use it for our mining. So there is more of a push in the crypto community to use renewable resources to produce their energy for mining than there is in the United States government or anywhere in the energy grid or whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that it's just bullshit that he did this. He's trying to be part of it. He's just another friggin' pawn who's trying to help manipulate the whole goddamn market. And he did. It was a coordinated attack. But like we said, Johnny, they recognized it. They validated it by saying, okay, we're going to have to regulate it as much as we can on this end because they can't regulate, the way it's made, the way it's distributed and all that stuff. They can get it to themselves and put it on their own books, and that would help us all out because it would shoot the stock way high. But, I mean, there's no way they can get away from this whole situation. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to demean it as much as they can. They're trying to push people away from it. People who have money in the stock market, they're going to say, don't go near cryptos. All those big companies, fam, that do all the money managing, they don't even deal with crypto. It's not even part of it. They're like, we don't deal in crypto whatsoever because they've eliminated that shit.
They don't care about the environment. They don't care about, making everything safe. They just care about their pockets. And that's why they don't want people to find ways of just, going around the fiat dollar. Yeah. And enriching themselves. They don't want that. They don't want the working class to do that. That's not acceptable.
Sorry, I don't know how that happened. By the way, fam, we do live in a cartoon. I know you said you want... Johnny, do you want to say anything else on crypto? By the way, you said you want to go to New York soon, right?
I do.
New York to reward vaccinations with lottery tickets.
Oh my God! Are you fucking serious?
We live in a cartoon.
We do.
New York to reward vaccinations with lottery tickets. And there's a picture of Andrew Cuomo, the real Fugazi, the real Fredo over there. New York will give individuals who get vaccinated next week a free state lottery ticket as an incentive to urge more people to be inoculated. Fam, can you see it? Like, I wasn't gonna get jabbed, but you know what? They're giving away free tickets. Let's go. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced the new program dubbed Vax and Scratch.
Oh my God.
On Thursday, joining a number of cities and states that have implemented vaccine incentives to persuade residents to receive the shot. The program will give a free New York lottery scratch-off ticket for a mega multiplier lottery to any individuals over the age of 18 who get vaccinated at certain locations across the state between May 24th and May 28th.
Oh, yeah. Let's all go to New York and get the shot.
We got to get
Maybe I'll win the lottery. What is the likelihood of winning the fucking lottery?
We live in a cartoon.
This is beyond stupid.
But fam, it's not just the multi-million. They'll say there'll be other prizes out there that you can get. You know what I'm saying?
This is so stupid.
It's the Pfizer vaccine or a single dose of the Johnson & Johnson. The ticket, which will be sold by retailers across the state.
Johnson & Johnson is still in a lawsuit right now for what they did with the kids' powder.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're trusting them? Get the fuck out of here.
And fam, it looks like these elites right now. This is number 18, right? We added this one in here, Johnny. I don't know if you got this one up. It looks like I remember Niko said, he says, well, you better believe it. Once the election's over and Joe Biden wins, the COVID will just go away. It will just go away and nobody will be talking about it anymore. It looks like there's, and one thing, the reason why it's going to go away, fam, is they don't want to present anymore. If it was a real serious thing, they would have to present financial solutions, right? They don't want to do that.
Yeah,
they don't want to give the plebs any more money. So instead, it just goes away. Here's a little video of them. There they are. The elites, fam. Remember them? They had the ticker up and stuff. Look at all of them. Oh, there's our new senator from Georgia, Mr. Warlock. There's Nancy Pelosi, Ted Lieu. Look how close they are.
No mask.
They're taking pictures left and right.
But they already went through the protocol.
Oh, they're hugging
They already
people.
went. They all got checked. They all got vaxxed.
Oh, yeah.
They all got their little tests that say negative, so now they can hang out.
There's Katie Porter around over there. I think that is his Dianne Feinstein's hair, I think.
Since sliced bread.
They don't care. Let's mingle.
Oh.
Is that her with the glasses on her head? Is that Katie? I can't tell if that's her or not. Looks like her. Maybe not.
No, I don't see her.
Okay.
But there's Mr.
But they don't care.
Vote President
Ted Lieu.
Jamal Bauman.
There he is.
The
mask went away, fam. It's over. A few things to close out with real quick. We have a great video that's just been released the other day. It's on our YouTube. It's on our Rokfin. Go over and watch it on Rokfin if you can. You can give some love over there as well. Reverend Annie Chambers. Here's a little clip of the interview, and you get a little taste of what Reverend's about.
Reverend Annie, you talk about how you didn't see any poor people or any homeless people in Cuba. Now more than ever, we're dealing with a pandemic. We're dealing with economic depression. We had Donald Trump, and in the shift to Biden, nothing has seemed to change. People are still poor. People still can't pay their rent. And we have a very divided country of people who hate each other. We have the media, mainstream media, propping up divisions, talking about how these people are stealing your jobs if they're immigrants, then talking about how all these white people are terrorists. What do you think is the best approach? You know, you saw and dealt with Klansmen in Nevada. You shut down a street, and people nowadays have this idea that you cannot even talk to people who disagree with you, even if it means working towards an economic goal or achievement.
But see, that is part of the plan, because you don't know me, so you don't know how to approach me in Nevada. There were poor little white children hungry, poor little black children hungry, because we found out that social services, if they gave one family, the black family, $250, they gave the white family $450. So that was to keep us divided. You got to get to know people. So that has to be a common ground. We as poor people, that was one of the things I did for the Poor People's Campaign. I went all up in them mountains, all up in them hills where the poor people was, and talked to them about the Poor People's Campaign. When I say we, people like me and other welfare rights women went all over this country getting poor people to get into the Poor People's Campaign. We get to know each other. See, long as they can keep us apart, then they know they hold a little power.
And that's exactly what's happening even to this day. Right now, they're trying to keep us divided, trying to keep focused on the Trumper over there, focus on the liberal over there, focus on these idiots over here. They're pulling the strings. You see what they're doing. You see where that money's going, where those bombs are going. You see who really calls the shots. You see that they are a class above you, that they have to have police to protect them. This is all about them. This isn't about you. You haven't had any help, really, not comparatively to the rest of first world nations. No, you haven't. And all this money is going to fund a military that is killing people, and you're not benefiting from it at all. Even in that sense, you're not benefiting from it at all. And it's disgusting that it's even happening. But look at all the money we give to Israel. Why aren't you mad at Israelis? Why are you mad at these immigrants who aren't stealing your jobs? Why aren't you mad at the corporations who are outsourcing your jobs? It's so hard to get American-made things here. It's so hard to have, American-based companies here because these companies outsource paying slave wages like we talked about the other day. Those are the people you have to be mad at, not your fucking neighbors.
Yeah, well, it was an amazing interview, guys. Go see it. Ongi was texting me yesterday, said it was awesome. Unholy Rome texted me, said it was awesome, and a lot of people loved it. So go take a look at it. It's really, really it was one of the best interviews we've ever got to do. So it's really important. Go check it out. There's a lot of great stuff in there. That's that. So on Saturday, tomorrow, we have the Solution Summit is here. We should have been talking a little bit more about this. Sorry for not doing so, but if you aren't doing anything tomorrow, you want to jump on to watch this. It's going to begin at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It should be about 4 or 5 hours. There's a bunch of different panelists. Fam's on the last panel, which is the good one. It's the powerhouse. Jimmy Dore, Graham Elwood, Ron Placone, Justin Jackson, and Fiorella are going to have a panel. The panel right before that, the second to last one, I will be on with the Hard Lens Boys and also Franco as well, Bruno Franco, our friend. And we're going to be talking about elections and direct action. It's going to be a lot of great stuff going on there. So please, you want to play the video, Johnny, or?
I like the beat.
I like the beat
really
too.
Good music.
And then, Fam, I think you're supposed to be on another show after that, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go on Magnus Pambidia's show right after that, and before that, I forgot I had scheduled months ago another show before that. So I'm gonna be busy tomorrow all day. But I will share whatever I'm on tomorrow. And guys, you should look it up. I mean, at least they're trying to find solutions to these issues, like I'm going to be talking about censorship and all of that, but also like the deeper parts of why we're being censored, of who's really pulling the strings here. You know me. I'm always trying to black pill a motherfucker. So
I'll be talking a lot about elections. So we'll see what
the perfect person to talk about elections.
Yep.
We love to talk about elections, but the fact pasta's on there, and Hard Lens did interview a great
Chamberlain,
election
integrity.
Franco
specialist.
has also been talking about elections a lot in direct actions. We've all participated in direct actions.
Also, another show I will be starting with on Thursdays with it's actually a collaboration with Roar Media. Shanda Masta and Oz will be engineering the show. It's called To Hell and Back. It's an in-depth look at addiction and recovery.
Wow.
It's something that's really plagued this country. A lot of people aren't talking about it. Actually, I think the actual number of people who are dying now to overdose is starting to pass the number of people who are dying for lack of health care. So it's like around 70,000 people every year getting killed. It's like a Vietnam War every year getting killed on this addiction situation.
Crisis,
and it's not about choice. We're going to show you everything what's going on because they used to say, just say no, just say no. That was the whole campaign. But this is your doctor getting you addicted to opioids. And when you're addicted to opioids, it's like hell on earth when you're in withdrawal.
And sometimes doctors don't even realize that they're doing it. They're told that this is the medication you have to prescribe, you have to give, and that's how it happens.
Okay, lastly, we got some super rays real quick that I can go over. By the way, thank you so much for all the people who watched today, all the people who donated. You guys are awesome. Dr. Dragon was the last one. So Redneckonomics, Stevie! Thank you for doing what you did, Johnny. We appreciate all the work you've put in to report the truth to us. Thank you so much, Stevie. We love you, Red Economics. Stevie. We love you, Joni Bug. As usual, great show. Thank you. As usual, Joni, you're showing the love, and we appreciate that.
Joni.
No more donations. Props to Johnny. I had a moment very early in my engineering career where I had to decide whether to work for a guaranteed job at one of the biggest corporations who makes weapons, including weapons of mass destruction. And I decided, fuck that shit. No more donations. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you, Johnny, for making that choice. JVDB, thank you for the Super Ray contribution. It is always appreciated on the couch. Chuck Simon, rock the Rokfin. Keep fighting the Convo Couch. The Empire feeds off the Republic. Michael Parenti, thank you so much, Michael Parenti. Yep. Thank you, Chuck Simon. We appreciate it. Roar Media left a Super Ray contribution. Roar. Just talked about to Hell and Back that we are starting on Thursday. Sister Fee, Brother P, and Johnny Sue fight for truth on our behalf each day, so our souls that ache with sadness and despair are better for it. This is the bravery in public media looks like. We are all proud of you for your passion, your commitment to all things good and just. Sincerely, thank you, fam. We love you. We love you too. We're Media and Shadow Band Refugee. Bring me on the stream right the fuck now. I'm an electrician and the crypto investor. This is my double. This is my double. My what word is that? Milieu. M-I-L-I-E. Milieu. This is my double. This is my new. Shadow Band, get at us. We'll hook you up. Yeah. We'll talk to you. We want to meet you. We want to speak with you. Shadow Band Refugee. Hit us up. theconvocouch@gmail.com. We'll talk. We heard you. We love you. We like you. Guys, hit that smash that like button. Thank you all who are on the YouTubes as well. We appreciate you, Jilly Love. Jody Bug is doing double duties. Fred Hampton's Ghost is there. As always, we love you, Fred Hampton's Ghost. Jonto Emily, William Wallace. We love you. Great Goblin. All these people on the YouTube. Fans. Slow News Day is over there.
We applied, by the way, for remonetization. They said they would get back to us in a month.
They got 60 days.
We're not changing anything.
They got 2 months, fam. Totis fam, all you people hanging out on the YouTube, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hit that like button too as well. We do have 2 trolls in the house who didn't like our show today.
Oh well.
But we appreciate your trolls. We're about freedom of speech.
You have to be a troll. I mean, we literally talked about important shit. You don't have to like us, but I mean, at least read what we talked about, right? Just spread the message. I don't care if you don't like me.
So tomorrow, the Solution Summit starting at 1 p.m. on the Pacific Coast and 4 p.m. on the East Coast. Check us out. There's a bunch of, I believe there's Shahid Buttar's there.
Howie Hawkins, Shahid Buttar. That's like the panel.
What's his name? Charles. Not Jamal Charles.
No. Oh, no. Charles.
He was on the show before.
No, he ran as an independent for president. No. He ran as an independent for president, right?
Yeah.
Mark Charles.
Yeah. Jeez Louise, man. He's on the show too as well. So there's going to be a lot of fun. They're looking for solutions. It's the first of its kind. Just check us out. You know, we have Fee's panel on my panel. There's going to be a lot of fun. So just tune in if you can. Just go to U.S. Solution Summits, hashtag U.S. Solution Summits. There's also a Twitter page too as well.
Yeah, Indie Left has been good on pushing that.
This is Indie Left's gig. So yes, please go help us out, support.
Yep.
Johnny, anything else? All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go make some pancakes. I'm going to make some berry oatmeal pancakes. I appreciate you joining in. Thanks to everybody who left a super rate today. That's awesome. To all our Patreons, to people who are loving love on the PayPal, to people who have been leaving tips on our videos like the Reverend Annie Chambers video. It's kind of funny. In the middle of this show, we saw somebody leave a $15 tip for Robledo for his article. You could always go back and leave love for those people over there. We do appreciate it, and every bit helps. We're going to get out in the field. We're going to cover the stories. We're not going to stop. This is what we do, the Convo Couch. We won't be building bombs. Johnny won't be doing that. He'll be working for us and with us. Excuse me. Shouldn't say for us. With us, because this is what he's doing instead of working for them, those pieces of crap.
Right.
So.
And I'm looking at flights to Beirut, or I don't know. How do we get to Palestine? How do we get to Palestine?
Yeah, let's talk. We'll talk with some of our friends there. We'll see.
Well, maybe we should go to New Hampshire first. I don't know. But I'd love to go. I'd love to go to the Middle East.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
scared as can be. I'd love to go.
My friend was like, "Yeah, it's dangerous."
Well, you said that it's sketchy for them to kill somebody from the U.S. So.
It is sketchy, but it doesn't mean it won't happen.
Remember, chances are they won't even allow us in there. Is what I was told by Marwa. Remember when Abby Martin went in there? They said she was a Russian asset and they didn't let her in.
Yeah.
So
I think we start soft. Let's start easy. 2022, Qatar.
Nah.
Let's start off with, let's go to see the World Cup.
No, I don't.
Let's
no.
just let's ease into it. Let's make some connections.
Sorry.
Let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's go to Qatar.
Sorry, Pishman, but the Saudis suck. Okay.
No, it's not Saudis. I go piss them off. Sorry, it's a different royal monarchic family.
Whatever.
Okay.
Dude. Okay. All right, Pishman.
All right.
We'll
so for
later.
Pasta Jardula,
Fiorella,
Johnny Sue on the 1s and 2s.
Combo out.
I'm going to make berry oatmeal pancakes.